NOAA Fisheries in our region is run by the Southeast Regional Office, or SERO. This is located right here in downtown St. Pete, Bayboro Harbor, right down in downtown St. Pete. Now, the SERO is in charge of rulemaking. They're the ones who actually make the rules, enforce the rules. They're the ones who tell us if a season's going to close early. They're the ones who close red grouper early based on the quota being met. They do all the rule making. They're in charge. These are the people that hold the reins, if you will. They're also in charge of HMS. NOAA Fisheries is a huge, huge, huge thing. And it's only one branch of NOAA. They also do weather. They do a bunch of other stuff too. They make the IPT, which is the interdisciplinary planning team, and that gets super complicated. We're not really going to dive into that because it's super technical and doesn't really have anything other than they basically help to create the rules. So the Gulf Council is an advisement body. They come up with an advisement or a piece of advice, and they come up with a rule, and then they transmit that rule to NOAA Fisheries, and then NOAA Fisheries creates this IPT, or interdisciplinary planning team, and they are made up of a bunch of different people, and they actually go about how you create the rule, and they write the legalese, they write all the rulemaking part of it, and that's what gets submitted to the Commerce Office. Rulemaking typically takes 6 months, sometimes a year. It's a very complicated, slow process. So like what happened with Lane Snapper a few years ago is we got a catch level increase, and they said, Lane Snapper is healthy. We're going to raise the number of fish you can catch. We're going to increase the catch level. Cool. Great. That means we're going to be able to catch more fish. We won't have a Lane Snapper closure at the end of the year. Well, the council passed that, made it final in June. NOAA Fisheries took too long. They didn't get the rule done in time. It wasn't implemented in time. The fishery closed. Even though they were about to increase the catch level a lot, based on federal law, MSA dictated when the catch level was projected to be met, they had to close the fishery. Even though the fishery was about to get a catch level increase, because they didn't have the rule done in time, they had to close the fishery. It screwed us, because this rulemaking process is very long and very arduous, and there's a lot of bureaucracy involved, and it can take way too long. That's what happened. So it becomes a proposed rule, it goes out for public comment, then it's a final rule. So a lot of people will get these information like, oh, we're going to do this. And I actually got a phone call today. Someone was upset about something happening in the South Atlantic on gag grouper and black grouper, and it's in the public comment process and rulemaking. Once it's in the public comment process and rulemaking, there's nothing you can do. The council has already passed it, finalized it, and submitted it to NOAA. This is really just, if you submit a public comment during this period and rulemaking, NOAA just sends you back an email explaining why they're doing what they're going to do, and they don't really listen to you. Once it's made it to this process, you're pretty much up a creek without a paddle. Even though there is public comment, and you can comment on the rules, but there's really not much you can do at this point. You got to get involved before the council passes it and submits it to NOAA. That's where you have a lot of public input ability and a lot of ways to change the rules, or at least guide the rules in the way you think are best. That's at the council level. Once it gets to NOAA, pretty much not much you can do. NOAA is this black box, not as transparent and open. They say they are, and they will answer your phone calls, and there's some really good people that work there, but for the most part, once it gets there, you're screwed. They're going to do what they want. And that's what happened with our Seafire program. We had a really good program. It passed the council. Once it went to the IPT and got into rulemaking, they started adding all this stuff, the economic information. They made it way more complicated. The lawyers got involved. The law enforcement got involved, and they overcomplicated it and did a really, really fumbled job in the outreach, and it created the program a lot of contention in the program. A lot of people hated the way it rolled out. There was a lot of confusion. Even someone like myself who goes to all these meetings, who tries to stay informed, I was confused, and they were just throwing stuff in there and making it way more difficult than it had to be, and that's what made a lot of people upset and ended up getting the thing sued and lost it. So really, really frustrating sometimes how slow the rulemaking process can be, and how they can kind of throw things in there in the black box of NOAA rulemaking. So that's how NOAA and that process works. So a lot of what people get upset about in the process is stuff that happens at NOAA that's dictated by the federal law. So